I also have the collector edition, of course.
Uh-oh.
Wait, hold on. Here you go.
Uh-oh.
There you
Uh-oh.
go. Look
Uh-oh.
at baseball bat.
Nice.
Uh-oh.
That's actually really pretty cover.
Yeah, that
It comes
is.
with an art book. That's why I love about collector edition. It always comes with art books, and I love that.
Mhm.
That's my favorite part.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This
Anthony,
is pretty dope.
yeah, Anthony's a big collector, so
Hmm.
gotta,
Oh
gotta
yeah.
keep feeding him. Get your get your games and stuff,
mean,
so he'll probably get
Of
it.
course. Coffee talk.
Ooh, nice.
Uh-oh.
I got everything.
Wait, let me see that again.
Thank you.
What? You didn't see the coffee talk?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
that's
wow.
the episode 2 limited edition.
Yeah, episode 2.
Nice.
Now he's flexing.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for
No,
buying all of our limited edition box set.
Thank you. Yeah, no, actually, that is really awesome of you.
it is. I mean, every time whenever Toge Production releases a game, I'm like, please let there be a collector's edition. Let there be a collector's edition. Let there be a collector's edition.
Nice.
Yeah.
So Sarah.
That's why you've been talking about him so much. Now I see.
Yeah, he's a big fan.
Mm.
So I have a quick question. When Sarah came out, we actually did talk about the physical edition. Producing physical editions, and there are a lot of barriers into that, and there are a lot of obstacles. So is there a specific quantity that you have to have for the least quantity that you have to order, or?
Yeah. There's a minimum order quantity. So if you're making Nintendo Switch, physical cartridges, you have to buy at least if I'm not mistaken, 5,000 units.
Wow.
Yeah. So you have to have an upfront kind of I guess resource funding to kind of buy those cartridges and actually produce them. And the cartridges, there's only a limited what do you call it? Only a few countries that are allowed to produce the cartridges. So Indonesia is not one of them. So we have to kind of have that produced outside of Indonesia, from Japan or from the US, and then
Wow.
and then shipped back to Indonesia. Yeah.
So shipping cost is also added too then.
Yeah, and also the customs, taxes. So that is why a lot of the physical sets, we're always partner with somebody, a publisher or a physical distributor from outside of Indonesia, with Serenity Forge or Chorus Worldwide, and then I think it was Limited Run, some other companies, because it's almost impossible to produce it ourselves, so we have to kind of have those partners do it for us.
And here I was going to say, for every game you put out, you need to make one copy just for Anthony. But I see that might be kind of hard to do. Hey, I got this game coming out. I'm gonna make sure you get your thing so you can have at least one.
But at least it's because it's always a limited number, and we cannot produce in huge quantities. So it's always, I think for collectors it might be valuable. One day, hopefully.
Yes.
So awesome.
That's why I buy 2.
Oh,
I try to hook you up, Anthony.
yeah. So you gotta keep Anthony in the loop. So whenever you guys do something with the physical collector, and he's gonna
we have the good stuff.
Yeah. You have to call him.
Coming soon.
Hey, I got something, man.
If Kriegsfront Tactics gets a physical, I'm buying that day one.
All right, awesome. Yeah.
There you go, right there.
2 pre-orders just for Anthony. I think that's coming.
You always know that he'll hook up. At least you have him. And,
Yeah.
And that's what's important.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about Tokyo Game Show. I mean, it happened last week, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm not
it was
mistaken.
last week.
Yeah. So a lot of games were shown. What were some big ones that they showed? I think the Metaphor Refantasio was. You can actually play the prologue part. I think it's coming out October 11th or something. That was a big series. And I was also surprised by the Xbox partnership with Square Enix, because Square Enix used to be partnered with Sony, right?
Yeah.
They they did release a lot of PlayStation exclusives, and now they're partnering up with Xbox. So that's kind of interesting.
Mhm.
I mean, I don't know. I've never really watched the Tokyo Game Show, but I was always under the impression that like Xbox doesn't really do good in Japan. So
I mean, it's
I mean,
kinda-
so it's kind of weird to me because isn't Square Enix from Japan?
Yeah,
it
yeah.
is.
Yeah,
But the
because
reason why people don't think that Xbox will ever do well in Japan is because Xbox is console, and most games in Japan people they play mostly on their mobile devices or handheld.
Mm.
That's why.
Well, no, I always and I also thought too because like PlayStation was like or Nintendo was like, get out of here, this is our territory. You know what I mean? Like you can't come in here, Xbox, and they're like, oh. So it was kind of surprising to me. I skimmed over Tokyo Game Show and I saw a lot of stuff actually I really liked. But I was surprised by that because that's just always what I've heard is that they've done really bad there usually. You know.
Yeah.
Tokyo Game Show. Yeah, that's one convention I always want to go to.
Yeah, I think it's like one of the big three ones in the world or something. Like Gamescom is big, and Tokyo Game Show and the PAX is also
Yeah.
big.
But did you know there's two Gamescom?
There is.
Yeah. Oh, actually 3 now.
I didn't know that. I
Oh,
just
there's three now. Okay.
Yeah, so there's like Gamescom in Cologne, and then Gamescom Asia right now in Singapore,
Yeah.
and then Gamescom Latin America, or I think
Oh,
Latin America,
yes.
or Brazil or something. Yeah.
Oh.
Yes, I remember that now.
So I assume, Chris, you go to a lot of these game shows
Yeah,
to represent Toge, and which is your favorite?
For me, like personally, I love PAX
Oh.
because like PAX is
Ooh.
more, I guess like the audience is more like indie centric, so they love like the indie games. Gamescom is good for like B2B, like business meetings, but the show is like super huge and super crowded. Like it's really hard, like moving like from what do you call it? They have like 11 halls or something like that, and then if you have a meeting like, oh, you know, like you're in hall 10 and then your meeting is like in hall, I don't know, maybe like hall 8 or something, you might think like, oh, it's close by. Turns out no, you have to like walk like really really far, and then you have to go through like this like sea of people.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, it's really hard, so you have to kind of like I guess like run around. But it's fun if you're going, if you want to find like business like deals with like publishers, or if you're like looking for like, you know, outsourcing companies and stuff like that. Gamescom is always like a good place to do that because you find all of, you know, companies from all over the world. Yeah, and to be honest, I love Bit Summit as well in Japan because it's a relatively tiny like event, but the good thing is like not only that it is like a indie centric event, but you can also like meet with, you know, like top game developers. Like for example, you can meet Shuhei Yoshida in the show floor, and he's just like walking like casually, and then you go, oh my god, and then you can meet like Koji Igarashi, you can meet like Hideki Kamiya. Actually, I bumped with Hideki Kamiya. He was like trying to like, I guess like looking at merch, like t-shirts and something like right in front of our booth, and was like, oh, that's Hideki Kamiya. And then like, excuse me, sir, can I have a selfie? And then like, so Bit Summit is like, I think like that is like the only show where I guess like the big guys are casually walking in the show floor, while in like Tokyo Game Show they have like their own kind of like, you know, you don't really meet them, you don't bump with them like so it's, yeah, so I guess like I highly recommend going to like Bit Summit.
That's awesome.
I feel like I think I'd be in heaven if I went to a place that was just like, I mean, you got to have other games there, but like just an indie showcase, I would just be like, I went to PAX South every year that they had it when I was here, and I just loved it. When it got shut down, I was just devastated because they just had a whole show of nothing but indie game places, and then you could just go look at all these sweet games. You're like, hey, when's this coming out? And they're like, we don't know. And I'm like, That's not what I asked you. No, I'm just joking. When does it come out? They're like, oh god. No, but no, it was so nice. I think I'd just be in heaven, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And broke after I left.
Oh, then you would definitely be broke.
My family, my
Experience.
kids, my children would be like, "Where's our college fund, Dad?" I'm like, "About that."
It went
Sorry,
to gaming.
You went to gaming, yeah.
You don't understand my addiction. No, no, it would be pretty cool. I would love it.
Yeah.
And in fact, maybe we should just do a documentary of us just going to these shows.
We have to. We
Yeah.
have to. We're gonna
Travel.
we're gonna bump into Kris too. Whenever he
we're
goes,
gonna-
we'll probably go.
I don't know how Kris feels about this, but we got told that we could come straight to Toge. Sarah said we could just walk right in. The three guys.
Yeah.
She said,
Sarah, you guys can
just these three guys. And we're like, hey, what's up?
Yeah, Sarah kind of invited us and like, oh, you guys.
Yeah,
can come
just
and-
let us know if you're ever like near, or like you can just come in. Come by our office.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
He's like, I don't know about just walking in. You might want to call first, but
Yeah,
Security.
security. Like, who are these three people that try to burst into the-
we just keep
Oh,
yelling.
no.
We're the three guys. We're the three guys.
All I know is I'm there for the coffee.
They got great coffee. Actually, I did get presents from one of the devs from Indonesia. I met her from BIC, and then the coffee was great, and that was awesome. So, and
We always like bring like coffee for giveaways, like when we're like traveling,
yeah,
because I think like in Indonesia is like we're famous for our coffee, other than and it's easy, it's easy to pack, and then you can like kind of give away.
I'm still trying to find that coffee that I remember. I think Sarah gave it to me. It's the one that has a picture of a squirrel on it.
A squirrel. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah. Is it like a silver kind of like sachet?
Yeah. Yes.
Mhm.
I've been trying to find that coffee because when I taste it, I'm like, oh my god, this is like the best coffee ever. Forget Starbucks, forget Dunkin' Donuts. This is like the best one.
Hey, you had me at Squirrel Cup. I was like, Squirrel?
I don't know if I should tell you this, but coffee luwak.
yes.
So I think what Sarah gave you was coffee luwak. So coffee luwak is like one of the most expensive coffee in the world. And it's produced from, I guess, like from the poop of the squirrel thingy. So the squirrels eat the coffee berries, and then the coffee gets fermented in their stomach, and then they pooped it out, and then we clean it, and then we roast it, and then that is
coffee.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm never.
It is
coffee
famous
brought-
because like it has like kind of like, I guess, like a different flavor because it's fermented, and it is like one of the most expensive coffee, I guess, in the world. So I think that's the one that you drink. But it's thank you. Not because not everybody have the courage or like wants to drink that, but yeah.
So when we
if
visit
Sarah ever hands me a cup of anything, I'm just gonna stare at her like, "What's that?" I'm not doing it.
is that poop?
But it's good. It is good. It is good.
It is
I
very
highly
good.
recommend. Yeah.
It's very good.
So when we actually visit Toge Production, we're gonna do like
Probably didn't know that, so you just told him. by the
coffee
way.
tasting live.
Yeah. Luwak. Coffee luwak.
Guess what this coffee's made out of?
By the way,
Don't worry, it's thoroughly clean.
Yeah, it's
so
fine.
there's no traces of whatever. But it's good.
everything inside me is scared right now. I'm not gonna lie to you. I haven't even drank it. I'm just worried.
Don't worry.
I actually watched the video of like something that you guys shot in your office like for last year. Like I think you guys do like an anniversary or special announcement thingy every year.
Yeah.
And the office looks really, really nice. Like
Thank you. Yeah.
So I really, really love the office.
We'll be there. Don't you worry.
Yes, someday.
We actually rarely go to the office now, so it's mostly empty most of the time. Yeah, because like so when we bought the place, that was like before the pandemic, and our team was only maybe like 15 people max.
Mm-hmm.
So when we were like looking for a new place, we want to have like a place where maybe fit like 20 people.
Mm-hmm.
But then the pandemic happens, so nobody goes to the office. No, no physical contact. And then after the pandemic, our team is already like more than 30. So everybody couldn't fit in the office anyway. So we thought like, yeah, just work from home. It's fine. and we only use the office to hang out, like mostly on Wednesdays, or like just to hang out with the folks, play games, not not really do work, but yeah, just hang
So
out. Yeah.
I would love to show up, just us three, and walk in there, just nobody there.
Yeah.
Right.
Not
You
bad.
have to let us know, like, if you're coming over, because like probably it's empty.
Yeah.
I would just sit. I just sit down in a chair and be like, "King of the castle, king of the castle," just for a little bit.
Yeah, we'll probably definitely. It's in Jakarta, or is it in Bali, or is it?
No, it's actually outside of Jakarta.
Uh-huh.
So the office is in Tangerang,
Uh-huh.
which is like maybe like 40 minutes depending on traffic conditions.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, it's like it's not too far from Jakarta. So
Okay.
we always say that we're from Jakarta because, like, I guess that it's easier. But technically we're on the suburbs.
Okay.
Like, yeah.
Oh,
Nice.
okay.
All right. Are you guys showing any? Did you guys show any Toge games at the Tokyo Game Show?
Yeah. We brought Kriegsfront Tactics to Tokyo Game Show.
Yes.
And we showcased that. And then turns out like Front Mission 3 was announced at Tokyo Game Show as well.
Yes.
And a lot of everybody just like compared the trailer from Front Mission 3 and our game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I don't want to brag, but like a lot of people, they kind of like disappointed with the Front Mission 3 remake trailer, and they think like Kriegsfront is better. So yeah, so I'm kind of happy, but as a Front Mission fan, I'm also like kind of sad because like I was hoping that they will do the remake justice, because like the fans have been waiting for like a new Mac Tactics Front Mission games for like so long. And yeah, it's better to play the emulation from like PlayStation 1 emulation, I guess.
Okay. So I think it's best to we actually see the trailer for Kriegsfront Tactic with full sound. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I hope so.
Okay. So let's go for the trailer. This is with the sound.
Following the defeat, Yamato Empire ceded its territories in the Pacific, leaving behind a chaotic vacuum of power.
Semboyan kita tetap satu. Merdeka atau mati.
Nusanition insurgents continue their attack of the remaining UOC soldiers stationed in the colony. Krieger mech squads have been deployed to contain the situation.
Move that ass, maggots. I don't fucking care which idiot.
The president had expressed concern about
I feel I might get work right now.
soldiers have endured in the primitive land of Nusanition.
Our boys in the colony have suffered too much from this insolent display of lawlessness. The UOC will be benevolent no longer.
Those hardy Nusanesians salvaged the Empire's Kriegs and made them their own. They turned it into a promise of power, to resist, to fight back. Brave men defending their liberty. I respect that.
Got intel there's no temple in these parts. Locals call it Chanda.
But the order was clear. The land belonged to the UOC, and we had to get it back.
It is of utmost urgency that we move to protect the people of Nusanisha and defend what is rightfully ours.
All right.
What's going to happen to that kid?
Yeah. That was awesome. So we just like dove right into a companion waypoint. This is where we talk more about the game, and Kris.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever we talked about for about an hour was just the prologue. By the way.
I think we might even skipped over some stuff. Good job, guys.
I mean, that's how prologues is usually.
Yeah, we try to make it less, but like we have so many, like we have so many questions. We just want to talk to these awesome devs. Like share their
Yeah,
story, listen to their
That
stories.
it's we just really want to get to the dev talk. That's
This is our main thing because I really love talking to all these different devs. They have different stories, they have different games, they have different concepts. I just love it.
yep.
So yeah,
So
yeah.
where should we start?
So can you tell us a little bit about the how the game started, where the concept came in?
Okay, yeah. So so Kriegsfront Tactics. Yeah. So a bit of background. Like, I'm a huge fan of like Front Mission. I love like tactical RPG games back from like the PlayStation 1 era, and I've been waiting for like, I don't know, 25 years for a new mech tactics game that never came to fruition. So I was kind of like tired of waiting, and so I've always like had this kind of like, I guess, an idea brewing in the back of my mind, like, what if I make a tactics game? So I've been like kind of like noting down like ideas for many years, I guess, and we finally did the like, I guess, like a concept mock-up back in 2018, like I told you before. But when we like calculate the budget, like, oh shit, this is like a really ambitious game that we just don't have the resources right now. So we kind of like, okay, we could do some another game, and then hopefully from that game we could like reuse the tech to eventually make a mech tactical RPG game. So we did other games like Coffee Talk, and then we also did Necronator, which is like a small real-time strategy tactics kind of like game. But then like all the tech that we did is kind of like, we reuse that in Kriegsfront, so that becomes like the kind of like the foundation of what Kriegsfront later becomes. So after we released like Coffee Talk, like, and thankfully it was a hit. So we have like the budget to kind of like do it. So we decided to kind of like, okay, let's make this tactics RPG game. And I think in not early, maybe like late 2020. And then we've been working on that for, I guess, like 4 years almost now. And yeah, so the concept is like, we want to kind of like revive the mech tactical RPG game that we love, like from the like classic Front Mission. We want to take what's the best of those games, and then we want to bring it to the modern day, and then modernize it with the, I guess, like the like, what do you call it, like the gold standard of like tactical games right today, and then add improvements here and there. So we take like XCOM kind of like tactical strategy gameplay. We'd mix it a little bit with Darkest Dungeon as well, and then we put it together, and we think like, because we're developers from Southeast Asia, like we want to have like the Southeast Asian setting that could represent us. So we thought like, maybe an alternate 1960s Cold War era Southeast Asia is a good setting for a game like this. So we incorporated that as well into the game, and that becomes like Kriegsfront Tactics.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you? So I know this is. Have you ever played a game called Iron Harvest?
And it's like a 1920s, kind of like alternate World War One
steampunk like mechs.
Yeah.
That's what, when you're talking about it, I was kind of thinking a little bit about that. Even though I think you're going more of the tactical way. I was just, it was just for some reason I was like, I wonder if he's played that or not.
I played it. Yeah. I'm basically I'm a huge like mech, but I'm more like, I guess, like my mech preferences is more like grounded. So I don't really like Gundam, to be honest, but like Pat Labor, that's my jam. Like Pat Labor, and then like I guess like Iron Harvest. Like it's because it's like more grounded, more kind of like a bit more realistic.
Mm.
So yeah, so that's why like I really love like Front Mission.
So no Pacific Rim.
Not really, but yeah,
I like Pacific Rim, but I thought it was kind of funny how they made it to where two people had to walk it because it was so big. But I get you. I kind of the same way. I did watch Gundam when I was a kid, but I like more of that. Like you said, I like that more of those grounded kind of mechs that are, definitely getting more, just shot up, not flying around chopping each other up with swords in mid space, which is still cool,
Nice. Mhm. So, so what is your favorite game of all time then?
Oh wow, that's hard.
Mm.
Probably the first Metal Gear Solid, to be honest.
Wow,
Like,
the Nintendo
That
one.
game, no, not Metal Gear. Metal Gear Solid, the on the PlayStation 1. The first, the basically the first 3D one.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that
The
one.
one in like
I
Shadow
remember that
Moses,
Uh,
you know, with the DARPA chief and then Liquid Snake. So that is my favorite because like I don't know, like after like what 20 years, 25 years,
They're still doing it.
still holds up. Like I played that again recently on like an emulator. It's really good, still really good, even though like it's like the controls are a bit outdated, but
Yeah.
it's still really good. Like execution wise, the voice acting, the story, it's nice.
I can see
I still love that game. I just thought I always to this day cracked up that when I first played the game, and you find that cardboard box.
Yeah.
And you get in it and walk around. I'm like, there's how he's just moving around like, hey, did you see that? And I'm like, but yeah, that was I remember playing for the first time and just being like, wow, this is like hiding in the locker room and wait until somebody comes over and take him out. I'm like, this is dope.
Yeah,
Except for I'm in a box that's really small on the floor. I don't know how I'm doing it, but okay.
Yeah. Oh, especially the one with the Psycho Mantis. That when I first played that, like, and then he reads the memory card, and then like he makes like the controller vibrate. I was like, oh, how? And then like like when the screen turns into like the Hideo, like instead of video, it says Hideo. It was like I thought like did my console broke for a bit, and then like oh, what is this? Like oh no, like oh my god, this is like so cool. Yeah, so that is like I guess my favorite game of all time. Probably it's high up there.
That's a dope game.
Yeah, so
I remember that one game. I remember it wasn't in that game, but it was one of the. I don't know if I think it was the Sons of Liberty. I got so angry at the vampire guy. I was like, I hate this guy. I hate him because you're running around trying to take him out in that scaffolding. I don't know if you guys remember or not. I was like, oh.
you sometimes have to deal with those characters.
How dare they have powers? I hated them.
So I guess Coffee Talk is very, very different from like your favorite games, the genre especially. So was there like I don't know, like if there's like a difficulty of you like managing the whole game, or was there like is there like a funny story behind it, or?
Yeah, so for like Coffee Talk, so it's like it started from like a game jam, and then so that the game is directed by Fahmi, Muhammad Fahmi. So he was like basically he wants to like make a game where like more like a visual novel, I guess, and that is like like in terms of like genre, it's like visual novel is not the genre that I really like played, but because like Toge we do the annual game jam, and then that is like an event where everybody in the company can kind of like show voice their ideas and then try to make it and turn it into reality. And turns out like from that game jam, like the early prototype was like the dialogue is like super captivating. So we decided to kind of like, okay, this should be turned into like a full commercial game. And so we put the prototype on itch.io, and that like got like a lot of like downloads.
Mhm.
So we greenlit the project, and then that becomes Coffee Talk. But I don't really like, I'm not like the director for that game. So most of the game direction is done by Fahmi. I'm only like giving them like a, what do you call it, like a, I guess like creative suggestions on what to do, where to go, and then I helped Fahmi wrote the dialogues, like maybe like I don't know, like near the end of the production. So I helped wrote the dialogues and become his editor basically. And so yeah, it is like, it is interesting because like I'm not I'm not like a very narrative like game, I guess, like gamer. But turns out like making Coffee Talk, it kind of like showed me like, like have games with really meaningful narrative is actually what makes the game memorable. So like one of the reason why like I still remember Metal Gear Solid to this day, it's not because of the gameplay. It's because of the narrative. It's about like the characters, the dialogues. I still remember the dialogue like when the like Revolver's Ocelot said about his like Colt 45 single action. It's so those kind of things stayed with me. So like making Coffee Talk turns out like, oh yeah, turns out like narrative it's a very powerful element in like game design. So that's a huge learning, I guess, like a learning process for me. And then after Coffee Talk, like you can see like almost like all of Toge's games now has like I guess like a narrative element that's like significant, so that is like before before Coffee Talk and after Coffee Talk, there's like this narrative, what do you call it, narrative revival, not revival, narrative like like an enlightenment sort of.
That's actually super. That's like super cool that like you went from not knowing to that, and then once that kind of popped off, that you put that in most of your games. So now I'm gonna be looking for that in every single Toge game I play, and it's got to be there. Or else.
Expectations. Oh no. Okay.
Yeah. So I guess it feels like, like Kris said, like, the gameplay kind of helps out you understand more towards like what the narrative of the game is, instead of like that being like the whole focus of the gameplay. Feels like it's like a tool that helps you understand the whole entire narrative. And is a very important lesson.
That is also like the thing that we want to do in Kriegsfront Tactics. So instead of like focusing just on the like gameplay mechanics, where we want to have like the gameplay mechanics kind of like help elevate the narrative, like the storytelling.
Yes.
Even like like we want to give you like that feeling of having guerrilla warfare in like jungles of Southeast Asia. And so that gameplay, like the mechanics also like played into that. And then it also like tells the, I guess, like the story of like the struggle of the people in the region during those kind of like time period. And there's also like gonna be like a lot of like moral dilemmas that the player must make. And then that will be not just like a dialogue, like, and then you choose, but it's mostly on the gameplay mechanic itself. Like if you bombard this area, and then those area have like tiny houses, huts, like, do you think about like the civilians who live there and stuff like that? So because like when you play strategy games, sometimes you don't really think about it. It's just like, I just want to kill this guy, I just want to kill the enemy, and then you just bombard an area. But then like we want to show that that kind of like that callousness of like not really thinking of like what is the ramification, and then the collateral damage that is being done to those the civilian population. And then the region.
That's intense.
Yeah, that is very deep.
Now we know why the kid was crying at the end.
Yeah, well,
like,
that's it's basically kind of like when Avengers kind of destroyed the entire New York City. We don't really care about the civilians that live there. Like, because of the
People just trying to get a bagel. And
yeah.
That's it.
And then like they just like die. That's,
Captain America took out the whole shop with a shield, and he's like,
Yeah.
"Whatever,
Mm-hmm.
so,
I gotta do what I gotta do."
so I guess
That's actually that's pretty cool to think about that. Like, being like, "Hey, if we drop bombs here, you're gonna take out like 40 people," because I don't think people see that that's like a real part of the world. You know
yes,
what I mean?
it is.
Yeah.
So man.
I want to play that game now.
Yeah. So do you actually consider Coffee Talk as the first accomplishment, like successful accomplishment of this company, or do you think like a different way? Or
So I guess like Toge, we have like I guess like several milestones. So the first our first ever breakout hit was actually Infectonator back in like the Flash game era, because that game, like that one Flash game earned us like maybe like $50,000. And that was like huge money when you're like just like two broke guys working in a garage with no money, like no funding, nothing, and then like this one game like earned like $50,000. So that actually propelled us to become like an actual company. It might not sound a lot for like a company, but then that was like the starting point of what why Toge can I guess I can grow. And then Coffee Talk would be, I guess, like that, other breakout hit that kind of like propelled us from like just an indie studio, and then that helped us to become like I guess like also a publisher, and also like we can create more ambitious, bigger budget games, and then also help other Southeast Asian developers bring their games to the global market. Without Coffee Talk, we couldn't help other other developers to like publish their games, or even like go to events like international events, because it's just like so expensive. But yeah, so like that, yeah. So there's always like multiple kind of like bumps. I would say like like spikes on our journey that helped us like grow from time to time.
wow. Well, I think Anthony had a question about the funding thingy.
Yeah, I think was it I saw that there's hold on, let me see. Let me get the
I think it's called the
question.
TGFI.
TGIF? I thought it was TGIF.
I know, that's what I thought was perfect. So I like typed in TGIF. I was like, this is not right.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Toki Game Fund Initiative.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
how does that actually work? Like, do you like? Is it like you get like what is it like maybe like 10 games a year or something, or is it like a limit? Because it's a great idea. It's a great plan because you're helping out indie developers, and we all know that sometimes we need that little I guess you could call it confidence booster or motivation, and that's what the initiative I believe is. So maybe you could tell us more about it.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, the Toge Game Fund initiative is like so it's a prototype funding grant. So basically we give out $10,000 grants to game developers in Southeast Asia, so that they can kind of like turn their ideas into like an actual prototype that they can maybe use that to kind of like validate their ideas, or like pitch to publishers and all on. And they don't have to pay us back, so it's not a loan. So it's like it's a grant, and then the only the only thing that we ask is that during the program, they're not allowed to pitch to other publishers until they finish it, and then they have to pitch to Toge first. And then if, for example, if we feel like, yeah, this is something that we could publish, then we can offer a publishing deal. But if it's if it's not, then it's fine. Then we can reject the game, and then they can find other publishers. So the reason why we do that is that we don't want to just like give $10,000 and they run away. So at least we have something to kind of like tie them, so that they actually finish the program, and then whatever happens, then they can move on and pitch to other publishers. The reason why we do like a funding grant like that is like because in Indonesia, sadly, we don't have any government funding grants available. So
No.
back in like 2009, like one of the reason why Indonesia suddenly have like a boom of like indie developers was that because of Flash games. Like because like a lot of like students like myself can make crappy Flash games, and then we can earn like $1,000 or like $2,000, something like that. And then that helped this kind of like growth, and then it helped create like a safety net for I guess people who start in the like making games for the first time, so that if they fail, they don't go bankrupt, and then they have to like mortgage their house or whatever. So sadly, the Flash game industry is gone.
Yes.
So everybody now, like, it's very hard for them if they want to start in this industry. It's very hard, right? Because they don't have the experience. But and if in order to get experience, you need funding, right? So and then they couldn't find jobs in like existing companies, because like there's like very little companies, game companies in Indonesia, and the only way they could find experience is like to go abroad or like work in other AAA companies or something like that. So we thought, like, how can we replicate that kind of like boom of like back in 2009, is that we have to have like at least something to create like a safety net for these young developers to try and then fail and then try and fail again, right? So until eventually they can have like their success and they
Yeah.
have the experience to actually pull it off. So thankfully, with the success of Coffee Talk, we have like we have the, I guess, like funding that we can allocate for young developers to kind of like pitch their ideas, and then they can get a safety net. And then hopefully maybe like in, I don't know, 5 years or something like that, we can get somebody like maybe like the Hideo Kojima of like Southeast Asia, born from this kind of like program, because they have that safety net to fail and fail and fail, and then until they can become successful. So that is like the idea for the program.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that is amazing. I mean, I was just like so inspired by this, like.
Yeah, I'm over here like, so Game Developer Publisher of the Year award goes to. No, I'm just drum roll. No, I'm just joking, but no, that is super awesome.
Publisher.
And that's it's wild if you think about it, because look where most game development or companies come out of. If you ever like watch the game shows, it seems like they're almost always from like or Europe, right? Like Northern Europe and stuff, where their college is free, where they go to game college for just nothing, and then they're like, we made this new game, and you're like, why is it always those guys? So now it kind of makes sense, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it does.
And I like the fact that you're like, you didn't make them. You don't necessarily have to take your offer, but they have to hear it. You're like, so here's our offer, and they're like, well, we don't know, and you're like, think hard. Well, that's pretty cool, I thought.
So were there a lot of applicants? Like, has people been applying? And
we actually like, we have like hundreds of applicants, but because like we're only like our team is like limited, right? So we can only take 10 projects at one time, and I guess like hopefully if more game developers are turns out to be successful from this program, hopefully they can also someday make their own, I don't know, like grant projects or whatever. Or we just want to see more from Southeast Asia, because I believe like there's a lot of potential, like in terms of like talent. There's like a lot of like very talented people. There's also a lot of like culture, history, stories from Southeast Asia that haven't like nobody knows, right? So if we can bring this to like global levels, then I believe it's a benefit for everybody, because now you can have stories from other regions, you can have new experiences, you can have new, I don't know, like interesting, innovative gameplay ideas and stuff like that.
Points of view.
Very very inspiring.
That's super dope.
Yeah, that is. Maybe you should also get sponsors like sponsored by like big companies and like IT companies in Indonesia too. To
We
get more.
Start a
actually
Kickstarter.
we decided not to take like sponsors because like we don't
Oh.
want our like the decision to be influenced by like other
That is, yeah.
yeah, because like once you have like I don't know, like sponsors or like investors or whatever, then it might be there might be tricky. So we just want to keep it clean, and hopefully with this program it will inspire other companies or like other studios to do the same, because if like we can only do so much, but if more more companies or like more programs can come out in the region, then it will benefit like other in developers as well.
That's awesome.
Super great. Very deep. Yeah.
That's a great philosophy.
That is a very
You wonder what's the company's philosophy is.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you like the companies.
Our company, like Toge's philosophy. So a little bit of like background. So when we first started the company, we didn't really think of the philosophy or even the name of the company. So we were just like students, like fresh graduates, and we just want to have like a name that feels very Indonesian, but it might sound exotic for like global global audience or like international people. So we thought like, yeah, just name it Toge lah. Like Toge means bean sprout, so it's like the bean sprout.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
there you go.
So that's why all the elements go in and then it grows up.
Yes. So after we named our company Toge, then we started thinking like, what is the philosophy of this? Like, and then we kind of like just like take like whatever. So we think like, oh yeah, a bean sprout is like something that is small. You can plant it almost anywhere as long as there's like a medium and then water, a little bit of water, and then it will adapt, right? So the philosophy is like Toge is you adapt and then grow, and then great things can start from something that is small. So like a tiny bean can grow into like a huge plant or like tree or whatever. So that becomes our philosophy. But we didn't think of that like in the beginning. It was like, yeah, it was just like, yeah, okay.
That's that actually fits with the initiative, the funding initiative you're doing too. Like spread the seed.
Yeah. So yeah, that becomes like, I guess like becomes our like part of the like the core value of the company is like adapt, grow, and then like start small, and then success or like something can come out from something that is small. Yeah. So that helps us like guide our company, I guess.
That's awesome.
Here. I like it. And I like how George just comes out with all the smart stuff. He's like, oh, that's just like growing other companies. I'm like, look at this guy over here.
Yeah. So, did you have any other questions, Zach? I mean, I have several.
Oh, I just
in line.
you have a whole bunch of them you haven't even got it to yet. But I did want to know, have you heard about an idea with Coffee Talk meets zombies?
Oh my god!
Interesting.
Did Sarah tell you about that, or?
I think I've probably heard of it, but not in detail. Like,
so
I
was saying, she said that you really started out with a lot of zombie games. I'm like, what if you guys did a version of Coffee Talk with zombies, where all these people are trying to survive the zombie apocalypse, so they come in to get some coffee. You know what I mean? And so your background could just be little zombies walking by instead of humans, and just like it's horrible out there, and then just make a coffee for them.
That's
just an idea.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna steal that idea.
So you could DLC for Halloween or something, just like Coffee Talk Halloween edition.
I thought when you mentioned like Coffee Talk and zombies, like the customers would be zombie, and then they will be like,
you could make it to where some of the some of the customers come in as zombie, and everybody's scared of them, so they go at the other end of the area, but then the barista's so good, the coffee's so good that the zombie's like, I have no reason to eat you now. I'm gonna leave, and my life is complete. Like, I don't even know what I was thinking, dude, coming in here. Like, hey, have a good day, zombie. You know what I mean? Only if you do it right. If you don't do it right, all heck breaks loose. You know, then you got to figure something else out.
Yeah, it could be like a side mission or something, side quest.
Interesting.
Maybe like brain coffee, like a little bit of coffee made from brain or something. You're like, here you go, zombie. Don't eat my customers. He's like, you know.
Oh,
I just had to ask that question because I don't know if Sarah told you or not, but you know.
Okay, because I thought you were talking about our commercial that we talked about. Oh, the trailer.
oh, the trailer.
The coffee zombies.
The coffee zombie with the trailer that we talked about. How was it? It was started with whisper outbreak on the mountain, and then they had to like kill the zombies. But they're like, we need a coffee break. So let's just go to the coffee the shop, and then let's go sit down. And you see the zombies in the background running around.
Trying to get in. They're like banging on the window. They're like, oh god, this is the worst day ever.
and then you drink the coffee, and it takes you to this like the coffee is like so strong. It's like it takes you to this new world. Like you loop into the space bound world. And it's like it gets all nice and beautiful.
There's so many
time leaping.
There's so many possibilities. I'm just saying.
It was like a mashup of all the Toge games.
It's like a time leap, basically, or time loop.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of zombie games out there, but there's no zombie coffee games or games where you're just trying to help. You're just trying to help people deal with the zombie apocalypse. You're like, I know it's rough.
That's actually a very, very compelling pitch.
You're like, I know it's rough. Idea. Here's your cup of coffee. Just take a rest.
So Zach is gonna obviously gonna apply for the funding initiative.
I can't do that. Knowing now it's for people in Indonesia. I want them to.
Oh, right.
I'm just giving away. I'm giving away creative freedoms for free. I'm just like, here, you can have this popped in my head. You know what to do with it. You know about coffee, and you know about zombies.
On the credit.
Yeah.
Yeah, just put like a weird bald-headed guy with glasses in it somewhere with a mustache.
The three guys, and then we have
all three of us. It's got to be us three.
Well, we could be like pixelated characters.
Yeah.
I always want to be pixelated.
Well, if you look at the Toge Production website, and then you go to the About Us, you see everyone else. They all have their own pixelated characters.
Yeah,
that's true. That's true. So and so, is there any, like you said, you don't have a date set for it yet, but is there a date set for your game coming out, or are you not?
No, not yet.
Not yet. No.
Well, we like optimistically, maybe like early 2026. That's optimistically, but I guess we'll see. You know.
How dare you get me excited? I'm gonna be waiting around like it's coming. I know it is. No,
it's an Coffee Talk Tokyo is also coming out, right?
Oh yeah, we don't have a release date yet for that one as well. But yeah, Coffee Talk Tokyo is currently being developed.
Yeah, I also saw that in wasn't it in the Nintendo Direct?
Was it Nintendo?
Yeah, Nintendo. I think Indie World.
Indie World. Indie World.
Yeah,
Indie World Showcase.
Yeah, that one.
We also showcased that on like Tokyo Game Show at the Chorus Worldwide's booth. So we have like a early demo there.
Nice.
That's pretty cool.
That is very, very cool.
Is that going to be episode 3 then? Tokyo, the Tokyo one.
I can't say anything.
He said no, huh? No, I'm just joking. No, I'm sorry. Questions I can ask. I'm really sorry, guys.
Yeah, you gotta go look through on the bottom. It says no questions asked for these topics.
Did you put that on there?
No.
If you did, I'm really sorry.
I
don't see anything on here.
It's a secret message. But anyways, so Kris, if you can go back to like where you initially started Toge, is there anything you want to like do differently? If you have all the knowledge that you have.
Yeah, to be honest, like where we are today is, because of the process of like what we went through. So like, I don't think I would change anything. because like if you change to the past, then maybe your future it might be completely different. But yeah, I guess like I will do everything the same, I guess. Yeah.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
good, I guess. Because you never know, like taking a different path would lead to a different
Yeah.
like place.
Plus all those lessons learned. A lot of times
Yes.
people regret stuff, but then I don't think they understand that those were if you do, I mean, sure you don't have really any regrets, but when people look and they're like, oh, I really regret that. I'm like, but did you learn a lesson? Because I feel like that's the most important part, especially when you're in an adventure, like running your own gaming company with zombies drinking coffee. Like that's something
You
really I
really
look
want
back.
the idea.
I'm just saying, I'll stop. Okay. I just really think the idea is great. Okay. I just want to help Toge out with any ideas they need. Okay.
That's awesome.
Thank you. I'll
I'm
steal
sure-
that idea. I think that
I'm
idea
sure
is
they.
pretty
I'm sure you guys have a lot of ideas. Actually,
Yeah.
from looking at your. So of course I didn't. We knew Sarah was coming on. I did a deep dive into your guys' catalog. I went through and I was like, man, they have games all over the place, which I really admire. Like it's kind of cool that it's not just one thing or the other.
Yeah.
Even though a lot of some of it's publishing too, which is like you said is actually pretty cool too, because it looks like you're helping a lot of companies out. But it was all over the place. So that's what gave me the idea. I was like, holy cow, there's a lot of coffee and there's some zombies. Let's throw those together and we're good to go. But there seems like some really cool stuff in here.
Yeah.
I really like your guys' catalog.
Yeah,
I'll stop.
we don't have like a specific like genre. So we love experimenting on like different ideas, and we always want to try something that's, I guess, like different and unique, and it doesn't necessarily have to be something that we've done before. And yeah, because like we'll never get like a game like Coffee Talk if we stayed just making zombie games, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So we have to kind of like sometimes try new things, and then so that you kind of like open your horizons, I guess.
I mean, and it kind of shows too, at least to me, as someone looking at your team from the outside, is you guys like to have fun. You have a good imagination, and you're just like, heck, let's try it and see what happens. And for someone who, I really like that idea that people are they're trying something instead of going, all right, we made a couple of Dark Souls. Let's make some more Dark Souls. And I'm like, Jesus God, can we not?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the beauty of being an indie dev. You can try out, experiment a lot of different areas and industry or genres. That's cool.
Yeah, no AAA for me, all indie. Except for Monster Hunter Wild. I'm sorry, I have to get it.
Unless Toge make a Monster Hunter game.
New ideas coming.
With coffee. Well, actually,
Coffee
no.
Hunter.
Monster Hunter World does have food in it, but I don't think it has coffee.
No,
if you-
but anything is possible these days.
Yeah.
Imagine if those cats in Monster Hunter World were making your coffee. And they'd be flipping around in the background and stuff, just like you're like, that better be some good coffee. Because I've been waiting for 30 minutes now, and I have monsters that go back. Let's press those up a little bit. Yeah.
So, what is your end goal as a founder of Toge?
To be honest, like I don't really have an end goal. Like I just want to keep making games. And yeah, I guess like just making cool game ideas until I'm old, I guess. that is the dream.
I love that. I love that. Yeah.
I think that is the dream of everyone. I think.
Like my dream would be the the Studio Ghibli, like Miyazaki. He's always like, he's old now, right? And he's always like, this is gonna be my last movie, and then he quits, and then he comes back and makes
yes.
I want to be like, I want to. This is gonna be my last game, and then like I quit, and then like next day I come back with a new game.
Yeah, let's watch. Let's watch. Chris retires and it comes back 15 years later. I got a great idea. Let's do this.
And I'll be old too, going, I remember that man.
That's what what's it? The the Final Fantasy person did. The father of Final Fantasy, who he retired and came back and now making Fantasia, and like
yeah.
handing out Fantasia.
Yes.
So
I mean, if you really love it, why stop?
Yeah, exactly. If you
Might as well do it till you die if you love it.
yeah, your last words would be like, so the release date for this game is
yeah,
You're laying there with
Yeah.
machines plugged in. You're like, the coding's all wrong. Get my coder. Oh. That was the last thing he said. But
that'd be cool.
like, we
Okay.
need to go back and redo the art. Where is everybody?
Nice. So do you have any like last words for any like new incoming indie devs as in like an advice?
Well, I guess like just start small and then just make as many games as possible in the shortest amount of time, and and then learn from that. Learn from that, because like imagine like game development is like climbing a mountain. So if you don't want to climb Mount Everest on your first try, right?
Mhm.
You want to at least like climb a small hill first, and then you climb a bigger one,
Mhm.
and then you climb. So you build your experience, and then you build your knowledge and equipment and all that, and then finally one day you'll make that dream of like climbing Mount Everest. But it's not gonna be your first for your first try.
Right.
So I guess like keep that in mind, because like a lot of people didn't realize that their dream game is like a Mount Everest, right? And then they just want to like, I want to do that, but they don't have the skill, the knowledge, the resources yet to actually climb that.
Mhm.
And then they fail in the middle of the progress, or like they couldn't survive, so they quit, and then they never make another game. So that would be very sad. So you have to kind of like think of it like it's like climbing a mountain, and then be strategic, and then build that kind of like skill, knowledge, and everything.
Oh. Yeah. I mean, I've had nothing but solid wisdom this whole podcast.
Yeah, I actually like it.
I'll be laying in bed like, God, so many things.
Yeah, like remember Chris said this thing so inspiring before I go to bed, like every time. Yeah.
Not gonna lie, since I've started doing this project with you guys, I've run into so many. I mean, almost every dev we've come on has just been so awesome and had so much wisdom that it's like I take it with me in my real life. I'm like, well, maybe I should live life a little differently.
Mhm.
So now I'm gonna go out and climb some little hills tomorrow. No, I'm just but no, that's actually pretty good advice. If you
Yeah,
think
that
about
is
it.
very good advice. As an experienced dev.
And taking care of other developers, making sweet games about zombies and coffee. Sir, you're
We're
killing
definitely
it.
We're definitely visiting Toge in the future.
The three guys.
Yeah, and you're gonna have like an inspiring lecture on us again.
I almost don't want to let you guys know we're there, so that we could just pull up, get into the office by ourselves, dress up in suits, and act like we're working like until you guys are like, there's somebody in the office.
Nice.
They're in there just sneaking around.
Yeah. So I think this
And no coffee from me.
Luwak coffee, that would be.
I mean, I'm gonna try the Lua coffee.
You gotta try it, yeah.
Yeah, I'll try it if you guys offer. But coffee's coffee, man.
Wow.
Yes.
It's good that you said that. I'll remember that. It's coffee. No, I'm just kidding. No.
It's just coffee.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry how it started.
Just think about the end product here. Like
This is guano coffee. Wait a minute. Oh, that sounds familiar.
Yeah. I think these are all the questions that we had about. Unless you guys have any last questions.
I could probably talk to you forever, sir.
Yeah, if you have like.
But most of it would probably be nonsense.
Yeah.
Apologize.
So yeah, we really appreciate you coming here, Kris. We learned a lot as a person too. Like I don't know, not just about like gaming, but like as a person, individual. I've learned a lot. I'm pretty sure the other two also have learned a lot. from
Yes. I wasn't even kidding earlier when I said that I was a fan before, and now I'm even bigger fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a lot of well, you think about it, because there's a lot of companies out there, and I know I'm a little old school, but how they just kind of treat their people like kind of like garbage and stuff. And like EA will just buy studios and shut them down, and you're over here trying to help out struggling people to get better at gaming. So that means like the world when you think about it, because it's pretty dope.
Yes.
Thank you.
That's why I hate
Yeah,
EA, by the
thank
way.
you so much for like
Sorry, EA.
having. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I think we'll end it around here. We'll probably record another one next week, but I think this was really fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yep.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Please come back.
Please come back. We
Yeah.
will request another one after when you actually launch the game. Pre-launch.
Hopefully.
Coffee zombie game. Let us know.
Coffee zombie game.
And that too. Yes, please. Okay. Okay. So thank you, everyone. I will see you guys next week. I'll see Kris around. And thank you.
And
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.
The
Bye.
outro music comes now. I love.
That's gonna be in the Spotcast. And bye and now.